If you think about who you are, who you were as a 5-year-old, as a 15-year-old, as a 35-year-old, and at this present moment, physically, there has been so much change. So many things have happened. You've become thin, you've become fat, your hair has fallen, your hair has grown. So many different things have happened in our life. So much of disease, so much of hardship, so much of ease, so much of luxury. Whatever it is that has happened in your life has affected you, right? But right through all of this, have you ever felt that I am not? You always feel that feeling that I am Kanchana, this is me. I'm here. I'm in this body. You were there as a child. You were there as a teenager. You were there as an adult. But through all of this body is not the same. Every cell in your body has been replaced. You are a completely different person than you were as a child. Yet, there is something that you recognize as being unchanging, that carries on, that penetrates, that goes through every aspect of your life. Something that understands, something that observes it all, something that is present through it all. And you recognize that. You know that I am that I am. But I am not this body, because this body is always changing. But the I am that I feel I am is always present. It feels like it's the same. It is unchanging. It is ever present. It is non-judgmental. It never comments, but it is there. Is this true from your experience? Do you feel it? Do you feel that through all of this, all your life, something has remained unchanged? Observing. Have you ever felt I am not, that in any situation, I am not Kanchana, I am not Sylvia, I am not Radha? No. That is the first thing that we feel. We know that through everything, there is this presence. There is something that is there, right? But what do we do? Instead of staying in that presence, we use our minds and we go out into this world, right? And whatever we see as objects is how we identify. So because you see this body as an object, very falsely, a lot of people think that I am this body. I am this body. But the truth, the real source doesn't change. It is steady. You know this from your own experience. I don't have to tell you. From your own experience, you know that the I am that you feel, that was present through everything, is unchanging. It has not aged. It has not divided. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't get broken into little pieces. It remains whole, and it's always present. It's always present, right? But this body that we are identifying with, saying, I am this face, I am this body, I am this hand, I am this leg, whatever you feel your identity lies with, that changes. That changes. the wrinkles appear, the skin shrivels up, the bones hit bones, right? So many changes we have in our body, yet that feeling of the unchanging remains. Let's move further on. Let's move further on. Let's look at things that, like, we believe we are. Most of the time, if you ask someone, what are you? How are you feeling? How are you today? They'll say, oh, I am tired. I am exhausted. I am stressed. I am fatigued. I am happy. I am sad. Is always something that they attach, that the mind tells them. And most often it's a feeling or an emotion. A feeling of being stressed, a feeling of being, I am thin, I am fat, I am tall, I am short. We attach so many things that are connected to the body. But most often, what stresses us out is our present state of mind. I am exhausted, I am tired, I am angry, I am depressed. Correct? But have any of those emotional states stayed forever? No. Every emotion comes and goes, comes and goes. But you observe, if you can look at your emotion and say, at this moment, there is a little bit of anxiety. At this moment, there is a little bit of stress. That you don't feel that you are the anger, you are the stress, you are, because you are not. You are not. You are steady and observing this taking place in you. You know this. Isn't it true? Are you the anger? If you were the anger, you wouldn't be able to see it. You wouldn't be able to notice it, because can the eye ever see the eye except in a mirror? Right? When you look at an object, an object is only seen outside of you. When you're looking at the subject, it's impossible to see it. So if you're able to see the anger, if you're able to feel the strong emotions that are coming and going in you, then very clearly you are observing it. You are watching it. You know what's happening. But can you ever become or understand or be the observer? Can you ever get that enlightenment that everybody's looking for? To be able to awaken and be the source? No, because the eye cannot see the eye. You can only be aware of its presence. That is the closest you're going to get to enlightenment. What about your perceptions? This is wrong. This is right. This feels good. This feels wrong. This feels right. Sensations that rise in your body. Are they real? Yes, when you feel them, they are. But do they stay forever? No. If something is changing and it's observable, that is not it. If you're looking for enlightenment as an experience, it's going to come and it's going to go, right? But we want to be always happy. We always want peace. We always want that feeling that comes only in glimpses. Every perception that we have, every sensation in the body that we have, does not last forever. It is there and it is gone. And you know the truth is steady, is ever present, omnipresent. And so if it changes, that certainly cannot be it. How about your thoughts? How about your thoughts? They come up, so many thoughts, memories, fears, anxieties, so many things come up all the time, all the time, all the time. But they come, they go. They come, they go. And the ones that stay are the ones you think, this thought is really defines who I am. This thought defines the person that I am. This thought defines the feeling that I have. Most often, you're already feeling some anxiety, some anger, or some disturbance. It's already risen in you, and you find a thought, a situation, something that justifies it. That is why I'm irritated. You dropped the milk on the floor that I just wiped. That's why I'm angry. And you want someone to blame for your feeling unhappy, out of it, out of sync, out of peace. You see, the problem is, enlightenment can never be an experience, because all experiences take place in the mind, and the mind belongs to the body. And we've already established that I'm not the body. This body constantly changes. I cannot be it. So then, where am I going to find that source of peace, that source of happiness, that source of joy, everlasting fountain of whatever it is? It comes from just silence. It comes from turning around and saying, who is the I? Who is this that knows, that observes, that watches? And the ancients have called this Jehovah and God and Krishna and Shiva. Lots of beautiful names to it. All of them valid. All of them good. They point to the same thing. Something that observes but doesn't comment, doesn't judge, is ever present, just there, always. That realizes itself through your action. So inaction, or not doing anything, not feeling anything, is not an option. Inaction is not an option. If you are born in this world, you work through the mind and you act, doing what is necessary in this moment. And that is how the higher self realizes itself. It is actually discovering its own potential through you. You and you and you and everybody in this world, through the smallest mosquito and ant and bacteria and virus. Without all of that, it does not realize itself. If you pull yourself out of the equation, no more Juan Carlos, out, my mind is shut down, then what is there? Is there anything? Is there any reality? Is there a war? Is there a fight between parties? Is anybody sick? Is anybody suffering? Does anyone have a body? No, you're not there to even know this. Right? So you understand that while you need consciousness, consciousness needs you. It realizes itself through you. If I don't have Windows on my computer, I can't type. I can't write a book. But when my computer shuts down, there is no book. That internet doesn't have any access to this book. You see what the relationship is? If you are not there, there is no world. There is nothing without you. That's how important you are to your reality. There is not one world and a million souls. Or is there? Are you in this world? Or is this world in you? You have direct access. Everything that I've just told you, you have an experience of. There's nothing that I'm saying, am I making up? You do realize this presence all through. You understand when I tell you that you are not your thoughts, you are not your mind, you are not your body, you are not your intellect, you are not this world. You understand it because you have experience of it. This is what it means to Godify. You have the God in you. This God that you pray to, your higher self that watches, that constantly observes. You can be aware, and there's a big joke that goes around in spiritual circles. You're conscious of consciousness that is conscious of consciousness. Like a mirror, right? That keeps going back and forth, back and forth. You can always approach it, but you never know the actual source. Never ever know the actual source. And it's not even necessary. That's why in Vedic tradition, to find who you are, to sink into presence is just a question of neti, 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 neti. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not this, I'm not that. You get rid of all the things that you are not. And then you get an approach. And that's it. That's where it stops. There's never going to be this bright light enlightenment experience. But if you do want it, I can bring you into a room, turn off all the lights and put on some psychedelic lights and tell you, you know, this is it, enlightenment. Did you see the lights? Every moment is awakening. If you just pause, stop those thought patterns and just feel this presence. I am.